This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by some wonderful folks. Taco John's of Cheyenne. Again, all of the locations, KRAE Avenue, Yellowstone Road, right at the corner of Ridge and Del Range, and Pershing and Ridge, you will find Taco John's. Now, the South Greeley Highway, they're getting close to the rebuild on the South Greeley address. However, you still can dine with Taco John's cuisine right there in the Outlaw Saloon parking truck. In the parking lot with the food truck from Taco John's, and the eats are just as delicious as well. Hey, we want to thank Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Had a nice chat with my good friends AJ and Greg Miller. And again, the 19s, adios, they need to go. 20s are rolling in, and I'm telling you, I was there at the time the truck was rolling off some new 2020s. So again, check out all that Kia offers to you. Great staff to work with, and again, you're going to like how they wheel and deal over at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking done the old-fashioned way, done the high-technology way, done everything in between, which you come to expect from our good friends over at Platte Valley Bank on Vandehigh and at the corner of College and Pershing. Chick-fil-A at Windmill and Del Range across from Powers Field and Menards. Mac and cheese on the menu, and for a limited time, let me take a look here. It's going to be hanging around here for about another month and a half. For a limited time, their frosted caramel coffee. So do enjoy that particular cuisine that they have for you over at Chick-fil-A. Again, Rain City's Place, serving up 3 delicious squares Monday through Saturday, Windmill and Del Range. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs, again, with your doctor's prescription, G and his great staff, they'll fill those said prescriptions. Hey, they've been doing this for a long time, so they know what they're doing. And then when they explain those medications to you, they know exactly what they're talking about. So, again, see our good friends at Medicap Pharmacy, always going one step further to make sure that you are taken care of properly. Open Monday through Saturday. Shop inside. Use the convenient drive-thru if you need to. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean. And again, too, if you want your car or truck factory new, basically looking factory new when it comes back to you, then you definitely want it done from Lennox Auto Body. Again, serving our community for over 25 years, quarter century. And again, the tradition is carried on by Heather Lennox after being founded by Pops Dick Lennox. First Tier Bank over at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, offering some great CDs right now with annual percentage yields that you're going to like. So talk with our good friends over at First Tier Bank. Thank you to Tim and the great staff for their efforts this past weekend on the End to Alzheimer's Walk over in Lions Park. First Tier Bank open Monday through Friday, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, it's Mondello's Pizzeria, pizza pie at its best. Again, Joe has brought his family recipes with him to Cheyenne, and he's been here now for almost 5 decades. And again, obviously, you and me, we love the cuisine there, including the strombolis and the calzones and their delicious sandwiches. The key, everything is fresh, not trucked in, always fresh from our good friends over at Mondello's Pizzeria, and it's not corporate, it's family recipes. So if you enjoy Italian cuisine, Paisan cuisine like I do, 7 days a week, you can enjoy it over at Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And it's time to get things underway. It's scoreboard time. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Recapping from this weekend with LCCC athletics, we'll start with soccer as they were both in Nebraska, at least Columbus, Nebraska, taking on Central Community College. For the men up first, they got the victory 7-1. So with that being said, with that victory, the men's soccer program, they are 7-3 overall on this season. They are number 25 in the nation, even though the polls are top 20, but they are on the outside looking in. So congrats to LCCC getting that recognition. Now for the women, they also too taking on that same Central Community College team, got the victory as well, 9-1. So with that victory, LCCC women's soccer is still undefeated. They are 8-0-1 and still number 4 ranked in the nation. And women's volleyball up in Casper, Wyoming, taking on Casper College, the Lady Thunderbirds, where LCCC women's volleyball got their third victory of the season by defeating Casper College by a final 3-1. So with LCCC, they are 3-17 overall. They will have a game upcoming tomorrow on the road down at Otero Junior College. 6 o'clock is when that will at least kick off down there in Colorado. Do want to remind folks as well, too, coming up this Friday here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com is where you can hear the contest. Video live streaming on Periscope via Twitter and also to the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. We will be live in Casper, Wyoming, with Casper Kelly Walsh playing host of Cheyenne Central, a team, at least the Indians, who are on a 3-game winning streak at this point. We will have that contest tentative, at least we're assuming, 7 o'clock kickoff there at Casper. At least talk with the AD. Hopefully we'll get a definitive answer on that. But right now we're anticipating a 7 o'clock kickoff up there in Casper. So that would mean about a 6:30 tentative pregame show here on 1480 KRAE. And then also, too, do want to at least notify folks that on 1480KRAE.com/schedule is where I have posted today our LCCC men's and women's basketball broadcast schedule. So you know when and where we will be at for both men and women's basketball for LCCC this 2019-2020 campaign.
Major League Baseball, Bupkis. There is no 163 games for anybody. And tomorrow we'll kick off the National League wild card. It will be the Brewers at the Nationals. That's tomorrow evening at Nats Park. To the National Football League for tonight, something's got to give because both teams are 0-3. Cincinnati, the Bungles, and the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight from Heinz Field. My scoreboard is really short.
As you say, do you want to remind folks as well, too, upcoming, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying my scoreboard is really short. Coming up in just a little bit, we had a chance to catch up with Colorado Avalanche head coach Jared Bednar. We also will hear comments from head coach Craig Bohl and the Wyoming Cowboys. The Cowboys on a bye week, so it's kind of an interesting week for us here as far as the scoreboard is concerned. So we'll come back with the Colorado Avalanche head coach after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
And we're not just literal taste buds. We're best buds.
And there's nothing that we love more than a
cool,
crisp,
deliciously refreshing Pepsi.
Sure, we live inside your mouth.
But that doesn't mean we don't enjoy the finer things.
Hey, Nate. Pepsi incoming!
Here it comes!
Tastes so good.
Tell me about it.
So,
amazing.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like we share the same mouth, Kate.
Forever and ever, Nate.
Make your taste buds happy and pick up a delicious, refreshing Pepsi.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Be part of the first Innovations in Medical and Surgical Nursing Conference in Cheyenne on October 24th, 2019 at the LCCC Clay Pathfinder Building from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. This conference will cover topics such as new technologies, opioid use, pacemaker care, and more. We hope you will join us in October for the Innovations in Medical and Surgical Nursing Conference. Register today at CheyenneRegional.org/innovations. Sponsored by Cheyenne Regional Medical Center.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Otherwise, for the remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 62 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy and a chance of rain, our low down to 38. Tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain showers. Look for a daytime high of only 49 degrees. And for Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Our low dropping down to 32 degrees.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Right now on Wyoming Sports Talk Today, Larry Perotti along with Nick Perotti. We get a chance to talk to Avalanche head coach Jared Bednar. And Coach, I guess, you know, with the puck dropping this week for the National Hockey League, have you been chomping at the bit to get the guys back on the ice?
Yeah, we certainly are. You know, we've been running through camp here for the last 3 weeks. We started with about 60 guys, a little bit larger camp than what we've had in years past. And we're all the way down to 27 right now, and we have to be chopped down to our opening roster of 23 by tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So it's been a long, grueling camp. We've played 6 exhibition games and really looking forward to starting the regular season here on Thursday night at home.
Now, as we talk about the preseason with you, Coach, and we had at least Colorado Eagles head coach Greg Cronin on with us a few weeks ago talking about his team, the American Hockey League, and just sending up some of his athletes up your way to at least give some talent to the Colorado Avalanche for this upcoming 2019-2020 season. But, Coach, from what you saw, you got to love the upcoming crop, so to speak, in the Avalanche system, including 50 miles north of you up there in Loveland with the Colorado Eagles.
Absolutely. You know what? It's amazing to watch the transformation over the last 2 or 3 years. It's getting harder and harder to make our team, and the depth is guys that we've had in with the Eagles and some of the new guys that we've brought in. The depth is getting better and better, and we have more options. And so training camp has been highly competitive. A lot of young guys and new guys and returning guys had really good training camp. So there's been some really tough decisions. Should set up for, you know, success both here and up the road with the Eagles. So we're excited on some of the development that we've seen from some of the young guys that played for the Eagles last year. I think they're going to have a really good team again, and it's just so nice just having them up the road where we get to see them, and there's more communication with our staff and their staff. And the coaches were all up here for our training camp for the first couple of weeks, so it's been a lot of fun, and I'm sure both teams, like I said, are looking forward here to start regular season.
Coach, I'm glad that Nick brought up the Eagles, especially, and again, being your 50-mile-away AAA affiliate, so to speak. But looking back on last season, just the impact of having the Eagles up in Loveland, and when you needed call-ups to, you know, fill out your roster or take care of an injury or somebody needed to go rehab, tell us the importance of that marriage last season.
Yeah, it's invaluable, and the proximity helps. It's such a well-run organization, ownership, the fan base is incredible. I sneak up there every once in a while on some of our days off to watch some games, as do some of my coaches that are on our staff, and then obviously Joe Sakic and his staff get up there. So you get to watch, instead of just watching them on video, get to watch them in live game action. You can go down and talk with the coaches. So there's more communication. Everyone's on the same page, and then when you need a player, it's much easier to pick the right player for the role that they're going to fill for us. And I think the players like it because they get more exposure to the big club and Joe and his staff, and obviously just coming up the road to play for us. And when we need to assign guys too, if we have a guy that's not going to play on any given night and we want to get him some games, we can send him down, and it benefits them as well. So it's a two-way street, and it worked excellent last year, and we're looking to grow that relationship and keep building on what we started last season.
You know, you look at the professional ranks as opposed to collegiate or even high school and the rah-rah, so to speak. But, you know, you look back at last year's run through the playoffs, and you were a team that nobody wanted to face. How do you equate that to this season with your group of guys saying, "Hey, you know what? We are there. We're one goal away from going on to the next level."
Yeah, and you know that's the fun. We had high expectations for our group last year. Based on what we saw the previous year, we felt like we'd have some internal growth from some of our young guys, and we had a couple additions. And I think this year the bar is raised again. I mean, Joe and his staff identified some guys in free agency that we felt could come in and provide us with more depth to our forward position. So we added 5 forwards, all guys that we sought out in free agency to fill roles for us, and some big names too, like Nazem Kadri, Andre Burakovsky, Jonas Donskoy, Val Nikushkin, and we bring these guys in. Pierre-Edouard Bednar, they're all from other teams. They're experienced guys, and they can fill important roles for us. So now the bar has been raised again, and our focus with our team is we're trying to play and live up to the expectations we have within the room. So a couple of years ago, there wasn't a lot of expectations. We wanted to make sure that we set a high standard and a high bar in our room, and we've done a nice job of living up to that. And now the expectations outside of our group are high, and we got to keep focused and try to be more consistent at what we do in order to make sure we're living up to that. And we're excited about this year. We've got a group here. If we go to work and get real consistent at what we do, that we can make some noise, and we want to build off what we did last season. And our finish to our year in the playoffs was outstanding, and we want to take that next step and keep moving on in the playoffs.
Well, speaking of those expectations, as something that we enjoy and other kind of talking heads around the nation like to talk, especially as we get ready for the upcoming 2019-2020 campaign in the NHL. But, you know, looking at least odds to win the Stanley Cup for this season, here it is, number 1 of the Tampa Bay Lightning, number 2, Toronto Maple Leafs, 3, the Vegas Golden Knights, 4, the Boston Bruins, and number 5, at least in that hole, is the Colorado Avalanche. Now, talking about that again, obviously it's fun to at least look at the Vegas odds, and granted, in the NHL, especially what we saw in the postseason, anything and everything can certainly happen. But, you know, looking at that, is that added pressure for you and your Colorado Avalanche team, Coach, or is it something that, knowing that information, having, so to speak, you know, the expectations and basically the backing by the nation saying, hey, you're the 5th best team here in the preseason, we like you to possibly win that Stanley Cup, is that something you try to spin to your athletes there in that Avs organization?
Yeah, so I think there's some added pressure there, just depending on how you look at it. The way we look at it is no one's going to put more pressure on us to play well than we do on one another within our room because of where we're trying to get to, right? So that's one way to look at it. I do think that, you know, we try to keep our team process oriented. So like we're thinking about what we have to do, what's the process, the type of winning habits that we need on a daily basis, weekly basis, in order to have success. And what we're trying to do is really drive the consistency out of our team. We had some down stretches last year, but you saw how we played down the stretch and in the playoffs. We want to try to live up to that standard the whole season, which will put us in a good spot. And all you can try and do there is you know, win your division, get home ice advantage make the regular season matter to set you up and put you in the best possible position you can going into the playoffs. And the Central Division is so tough that you just can't take nights off or you're not going to win. And the second step to that is we'll have to revisit that. We do the best we can there, and then you have to revisit it in the playoffs because you saw how hard it is to win. A team like Tampa Bay comes in with all the points they had, and they lose in the first round. They catch a hot team. We knocked out Calgary, who had 108 points. So a good regular season doesn't guarantee you playoff success, but what really does is that process and the habits that you create in your team game and making sure that it's rock solid going into that time of year.
And the ironic thing, especially talking about that Flames team, is that's your first, at least regular season matchup coming up this Thursday down there in the Pepsi Center, 7 o'clock here Mountain Time. Again, Flames versus the Avalanche to start off the season. So you got to love that as your regular season, at least kickoff game, so to speak.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because you're going to have to, as players and as coaches, we have to be emotionally invested right off the bat because there's going to be a little hatred there. A team like Calgary coming in, they'll be disappointed about the way their year finished, losing us in the first round, and they're going to want to come in and make a statement and get out to a good start. And you know what? Vice versa, so are we. So we want to prove that was not luck and that we're ready to go again for another long, grueling season, and it starts on opening night. You always want to get out to a good start. You don't want to be playing catch-up to teams in your division. So I think it's going to be a good one Thursday night, and we expect the Pepsi can to be rocking.
Colorado Avalanche head coach Jared Bednar join us on our Wyoming Sports Talk Today program. Coach, let me ask you this question. Now, when baseball comes out of spring training, pitchers are a little ahead of the hitting, or in football, the defense is a little ahead of the offense. What are you seeing after your exhibitions? Defense ahead of the offense, transition game good, penalty killing good, net minding good. What are you seeing right now that's good, and what you might need to work on as the season gets underway?
Yeah, so I've seen some good and bad out of all aspects of our game. It's difficult in exhibition, especially when you start with 60 guys, because we knew we were going to have some tough decisions to make. So our veteran players didn't play a lot. Some of them played two out of the 6. Some of them played 3 out of the 6. And then it's mixed in with a bunch of younger players and players trying to establish themselves. But I would say in general, you have to be able to check and play extremely hard and committed defensive hockey in order to win. And when you're away from it for 3 months of the off season, you tend to not check as hard as you do at the end of the year when the games are really important. So we're trying to get our players into that mindset that we need to be highly committed and check the puck back so we can go use our skill and our speed to create offense. So we've seen it at times, but I'd like to see our checking, turn it up a notch and be harder to play against. And the faster we can get our group to do that, the more success we're going to have.
Final thought for me, and you mentioned his name earlier, Joe Sakic with the Avalanche, and again, too, great career with the Avalanche and now in the front office. Tell us about your relationship with Joe and again, what he is bringing to the table for you and for this franchise, because it seems like he's totally invested in everything. And again, too, it's nice that you and Joe can talk hockey all the time.
Yeah, he's been amazing, and I'll just go back to this off season, and we talk, daily, and he's in and around watching practice and travels with us, and then gets out to scout games and whatnot, and then comes back by. But we talk all the time. He's got a real good feel for the pulse of our team. He's watching all the games. So, and when we're down on the bench and watching it from ice level, and he has a different viewpoint from the press box and brings a lot of good input to us. And we go into the off season, and some of the things as coaches that we, what our needs are, where do we see this guy playing, how can we improve, and we put our input in, and he's open to taking all that in. And then they went out in free agency and got us some what we consider key pieces to the puzzle. And He's given us a lot of good options here and a lot of pieces that we can move around to be successful. So it'll be up to us to get him in the right places to have the success, and it'll be up to the players to perform on a nightly basis to sort of hold their position in the lineup, because we have some really good options here. So it's been a really good working relationship. He's an awesome human being, so it's fun to be around, and our guys love having him be around. So it's been great.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best, continued success, and again, looking forward to that puck dropping on Thursday night for another wonderful season with the Colorado Avalanche.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Head coach Jared Bednar join us here on 1480 KRAE on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more after these words here on 1480 KRAE. Across from Powers Field and Menards are proud sponsors of the student athletes for the 2019-2020 school year for high school and LCCC. Not only do they support the athletes, but they are ready for your next cater-out event, meeting, or gathering. A special thank you to Chick-fil-A and all they do for 1480 KRAE and our sister station KYOI-FM during the year. For more information, call Chick-fil-A at 638-4444.
At Platte Valley Bank, we love to see our customers come through the door. Well, we know life can be busy and you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking products with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, mobile deposit, and now digital wallet. At Platte Valley Bank, you can manage your money how you want, when you want. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC. For almost 30 years, I've had the pleasure to talk about Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service. Hi, this is Larry Proetti with an invitation to bring your vehicle into cars for service and minor repairs that are done with precision and care. Now, I've known John and his staff for a long time, and when it comes to tune-ups, replacing shocks, fixing fuel pumps, replacing timing chains, working on heating and air conditioning units, or even just a good old-fashioned oil change, I only trust my car when it comes to service to be under the care of Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service. They are a TechNet professional, where their work is covered by a nationwide limited repair warranty that extends across North America for 24 months or 24,000 miles, whichever comes first. For more information, check out technetprofessional.com on the World Wide Web. Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service always goes one step above the rest when it comes to the care of your vehicle. 604 West Lincoln Way in Cheyenne, open Monday through Friday. Call and set up an appointment at 632-0498. Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 KRAE AM, are just that, local. Serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 KRAE.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. This week's Super Radio Buys, heard only right here, feature Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey. 750 milliliter bottle, $15.99. Captain Morgan Spiced Rum, 1.75 liter bottle, $20.49. And New Belgium Brewery, all varieties, 12-pack, 12-ounce bottles or cans, $14.29. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, after talking some hockey with the Colorado Avalanche bench bus, one Jared Bednar, we get a chance now to talk high school football over the weekend before we talk about the game that we did, which, again, I got to apologize because when you're in that booth up there, the two announcers just climb right on top of each other because there's no separation for us. You know?
Yeah, it's one long empty booth, so to speak, and again, it is what it is. But
it gets confusing
until they do something about it over at Cheyenne Central.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
you
deal with it.
But anyway, we did not cover the Natrona and Cheyenne East game at Cheney Alumni Field, and a whale of a ball game.
I'm just saying, I have no regret at least putting Central there.
I'm not dismissing.
Kind of made it sound like
no. I'm just saying
that was a fun one to watch again for the Indians.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that one we did not cover, and that one went to double overtime, which is a credit to the East Thunderbirds who spotted the Toronto 14 points early on and then battled back. I mean, it was nip and tuck, and they went down into overtime.
Yeah, but it's the same thing of what we saw last year in the semifinals up there. Casper was, again, running into weather. It sounded like a little bit of rain, wind, as something similar to what we saw in the semifinals. So basically, it was set up of what we saw last season between these two.
And both teams had a play in it, and
the end result is Natrona again gets it done at home.
Well, and what happened too, if you listen to the overtime, both teams scored. As a matter of fact, the East Thunderbirds scored on a fourth down play in the first overtime to tie it at 35, and then they switch around. East was on the defensive side first, so they turn around offensively in the second overtime. First play from scrimmage, they throw an interception.
Mm-hmm.
And, Steve Harshman said, screw this, let's get the kicker out there, let's do a field goal, and let's go home. And they did. So you look at the Thunderbirds on the road in that loss, and then I'm looking at their overall record now, where
they're 3-2.
They're 3-2, and they've lost 2 games by a total of 4 points.
Well, and also too, those 2 losses have been against top 5 teams. Again, you look at at least Natrona in that contest was number 4, Cheyenne East number 2. They lost to Thunder Basin at home. It's a situation that East is competitive with these teams. At least it's not a blowout, so to speak. But Cheyenne East, it is a little bit worrisome that they are having difficulties against these teams that they're going to eventually at least face in the playoffs, that you need to up in and find a way to overcome and not spot points, not let interceptions alter this game, or again, you got to find ways to clean up that contest, clean up the game, and beat these teams. Because again, you're going to face them once again in the playoffs,
right,
some way, shape, or form. And you got to be firing on all cylinders, clearly, as you know.
And here's where I'm going to disagree with you. You give Chad Goff that game film, he's going to dissect it every which way. And by the time, and you should know this, being part of the East program, you should know by the time if they face Natrona again or if they face Thunder Basin, there's going to be some different looks.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're not going to do the same thing.
And that's right. And again, too, he's going to have that opportunity.
Like I said, it's good on paper, but you got to show it on the field.
Well,
and so far, you've had kind of those miscues cost you two games now.
And I have a feeling if they face either one of those 2 teams again, that I'm not too concerned about it. I think East will they'll have their house in order by the time it's all ready to go. Natrona's the one I'm worried about right now. They're giving up a lot of points to the big boys. They're struggling. So
again, East has allowed 30 to Natrona and also to Thunder Basin. So again, it's not so much worrisome. Natrona is a team that can put up a lot of points. Clearly, what they did, putting up 68 against Cheyenne South in week 0. But again, Natrona, there's not a whole lot of issues or anything. Again, top 4 teams. The only team I got an issue with, or that is shown to be very beatable, is Sheridan. Sheridan is that team where I could see them exiting early in the playoffs this year out of the top 4.
I don't know. They seem to always get their backs up against the wall, but they find a way to, figure things out. You give them a halftime, and they get things figured out. So, right now, again, we're at the halfway point of the season. East is 3-2. Central's 3-2, which we'll talk here in a minute. I'm not really concerned. Again, look at the Thunderbirds. They've lost 2 games by a total of 4 points. You know, and for the Thunderbirds, all they have left on their schedule, correct me if I'm wrong, one top opponent, that's Sheridan. The rest of the schedule going into the remainder of the year, pretty flexible for them. I mean, they draw Laramie.
I mean,
they draw Laramie.
You're fortunate enough for East to be at home against Central, and we'll see where Central is at, where they could easily be on a 4-game winning streak heading into that game. That's a team that has a whole lot of momentum that's looking to play spoiler at Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex.
You know, and
I'm not poo-pooing. That is a huge rivalry game.
Actually, the rivalry this
and East
year,
could easily lose that game.
I think the rivalry this year has so much behind it because with the
this
Indian,
has playoff implications coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, one could be 4th and one could be 5th after it's all said and done.
You're talking, again, these are 2 teams that are tied right now at 3-2.
But by the way, with the Indians winning on Friday, they pretty much have punched their ticket to the playoffs. 3 wins get you in.
All right.
So, you know, congratulations to the Indians on doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the last 2 are out, and right now it is Gillette and Cheyenne South.
Actually,
it'd be Laramie. Yeah.
Be Laramie. They could be out. But they hold a tiebreaker over Casper Kelly Walsh, and Kelly Walsh only has 1 win. So right now it's Kelly and South that are the teams that could be out.
But there's 3 teams with 1 win, and again, a lot of at least still more football games to be played between those at least 3 teams, including Cheyenne South, to maneuver out of that cellar, so to speak. And we'll see what happens. But right now it's pretty much South is dead last again. They're still looking for their first win. And when we get into that contest, it's something of, will Cheyenne South get a win this year? It's going to be tough.
Yeah. But let's look at the game that we did, that we had live for you on Friday night with Cheyenne Central. And back-to-back weeks, we had offensive teams, East the week before and Cheyenne Central last week. Near perfect.
You might as well just say back-to-back. It's not even offense. It's just back-to-back we've had blowouts.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about near-perfect performances on the offensive side. McCleary had the 1 INT. That was the only blemish. But, I mean, you're talking this receiving core of the Storbos, Brock and Brady. You're talking Andrew Johnson. Talachu gets thrown to probably the least amount by those guys.
Talich, again, younger of the bunch.
Yeah, but Carter,
that's out there to get Talich.
He's a year behind the guys.
I'm just saying he's someone that needs to develop still, and not surprising that he's not the main target out there.
Then you have Lobatos, who ran wild. The whole offense for Cheyenne Central, whether you want to call it the West Coast offense, whether you want to call it the run and shoot, what Lobatos did or what the passing game did opened up one or the other. I mean, if you look at the way Carter ran, you could not just focus on him because next thing you know, McCleary's throwing passes down the seam to one of the Storbos.
But let's be honest, with this contest against Laramie, this was just an old-fashioned tune-up game of basically
butt whipping.
Again, padding the stats, so to speak, against a Laramie team that is clearly down and out this season. You know, we had a running clock at that point in time in that contest. A running clock that is we're still trying to understand what the hell the rules are with this, where out there at Central, the scorekeeper pretty much just went by their own cue out there of we'll stop the clock, run it after a play. It was just kind of confusing on how this running clock works after hitting 45 points, or at least a 45-point at least lead by a team. So, but either way, though, we did have a running clock to end that game. 14 points for Laramie. They came in garbage time. Again, a lot of second-teamers there for Cheyenne Central out on that field. So for Laramie, easily a team, if Mike Apodaca wanted to keep that first team out there, it'd have been a shutout.
And it's interesting, too, because all of the first-liners, after the 47-0 lead, were gone.
Yeah.
We saw a freshman quarterback in there. We saw, correct me if I'm wrong, the junior quarterback come in there. All fresh bodies on the offensive line and defensive side. You know, and again, too, where we paid the compliments on our post-game show, the Hosses up front did a great job for protecting McCleary. I think McCleary got sacked once. Wasn't really much under the gun, whether he was roaming to his left or his right. But I'll tell you what, when he was back,
felt pressure a few times. Yeah, but again, McCleary's used to that, and he knows how to flush out.
He wasn't hurried, and again, the passes that he threw were pretty accurate on Friday night. So this Central team, and again, I said it last week and I say it again now, and I don't expect them to lose any momentum going to Casper Kelly Walsh.
No.
Defensively, all they got to do is shut down that option. Kelly Walsh, we saw even against Cheyenne South, even though they threw a touchdown pass when it was all said and done, their game is not passing. They want to run the football. And
essentially, what you're seeing is Cheyenne South up there in Casper with this Trojans team. And, again, Kelly Walsh has not been all that impressive. Again, their only win was on the road against Cheyenne South, taking advantage of that team. But, again, this is a team that's at home, took on a Cheyenne East team, but got shut out, got completely blown out in that contest. Central, I don't foresee having a whole lot of issues with this
Central, here's the game plan for Central defensively. I mean, this is not rocket science. You have to have the athletes. You have to have two defensive ends, left side, right side. You have to have corner support come up. So your defensive ends are going to force that quarterback to either pitch or keep it himself. But they got to contain. They got to stay there in their zone. And you have to have that corner support come up quickly to get the pitch man. It's a very simple defense against these type of option offenses.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, but it is something that Coach.
You have to have the athletes.
And I think Central does, without a doubt. On paper, I think Central's a better team in this contest and should take care of business. Now, whether it is a blowout victory or an easy-to-come victory for Cheyenne Central, I think there's a good possibility as well, too. Again, Kelly Walsh is not that impressive.
No.
It's a team that is, again, we're talking a team that for their at least for their victories, got it against Cheyenne South, struggled and lost to a Laramie team. Laramie that looks, again, Laramie
did not look good at all.
Yeah, Laramie, they are on the same vein as Cheyenne South, where they're going through growing pains right now this season, especially with the amount of numbers that they do have on that team. It's on the same vein as Cheyenne South, and they're going to take their lumps this season.
And do want to throw out, in addition to all of the great receivers and Carter Lobatos' run, on the defensive side, you got to throw out, prompts to one Tanner Bullock. I mean, he spent more time in the Laramie backfield than the running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, he was all over these guys, Garrett Dodd, and matter of fact, was it Nunn, I do believe. He could never get started. So, and then he caused the one fumble where Nate Lundberg took it the distance, I think 22 yards for a touchdown. So, yeah, the Central Indians, maybe, we could throw out week one. Since week one, this team has played pretty good football.
Yeah, like I said, when we were kind of previewing Class 4A for this season, Central is a team that is, as I thought, was going to be improved, be a team that could flirt with the top four, and be competitive this season. And clearly they've shown it. Even taking on one of those top four here in town, they were absolutely competitive against at least Sheridan. Even with that lightning delay and just how long that game took, it's a team that can be competitive. That's why I think on paper, they take care of business even on the road against Casper Kelly Walsh. Weather shouldn't play a factor up there from what we see. And then you get ready for 2 weeks from now, heading over to Okie Blanchard to see Cheyenne East, where I think, again, don't write that in favor of Thunderbirds right now. Yes, on paper, East, probably has more talented athletes than Cheyenne Central, but I'm just saying that's not going to be an easy win for the Thunderbirds.
Right now, I don't know. I really can't give you a perspective on who's better, but I
think Central has loads of momentum heading into that crosstown
exactly.
rival.
And think about this. I hate to be Laramie this weekend because the Thunderbirds are going to take it out on them.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be a very ornery bunch heading over to Laramie. Cheyenne Central, they're like you said, they've got the momentum right now. They feel good. The packages that Coach Apodaca is putting in, the defense is putting pressure all the time, and they're getting healthy. That's one thing that Coach Apodaca said. We're getting healthy now. So you're looking at situations where, and let's look ahead 2 weeks, that East Central over at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex in 2 weeks is going to have some significance. It's going to mean something.
It's going to mean seedings because at this point in time, if things go to Hoyle after this week where East gets the victory against Laramie, which we all would agree on that should be That should be a blowout. That could get ugly coming up Friday there at Laramie for Cheyenne.
And it could be the same at Harry Gilding Stadium.
I think without a doubt. And, again, as you move forward with both of those teams, in our opinion, getting those victories, both teams sit 4-2, where that matchup's going to determine seedings.
Yeah.
As we wind down this season and get ready for the playoffs. That is huge.
One team's going to flip-flop with the other.
That's why I'm just saying for Cheyenne Central, don't pencil them in guaranteed winners against Central. That's not going to happen. That's going to be more competitive than what people probably believe.
Yeah, I'm looking really, and again, let's get through this weekend. And, again, we, the talkie heads, coaches, are taking them one game at a time. But we, as we'll be out there doing that game, I am so looking forward to this East Central matchup because, again, it means something. I mean, both teams, I don't want to use the word on an equal plane, but you don't know. I mean, again, Central beats you through the air.
Yeah.
And we have not found teams yet that really have had good secondaries. Sheridan was okay against the Central offense, but again, they were just finding themselves. Game 2, they were just finding themselves.
Granted, we haven't seen Thunder Basin yet this season, so can't really determine what's going on there with the Bolts. But, again, teams with great secondaries, it really doesn't exist here in Class 4A of just how many points have been scored and also, too, how many blowouts we've been seeing.
Well, and again, unfortunately for the South High Fighting Bison, and it was good that Alex Soto was dressed and got to play. No, let me finish.
Right.
I was glad to see him there because, again, anybody that they could suit up right now for Coach Gallus is bonus.
It's essentially all hands on deck out there at Cheyenne South.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Rock Springs came to town, and another blowout against Cheyenne.
I did
South.
not anticipate this. I figured South would be a lot more competitive against the Tigers in this contest, put up points, keep that one closer than what it ended up becoming. With Rock Springs basically getting the victory 50-0. That surprised me. That mightily surprised me of how bad that contest got over there at Cheyenne South. Again, that's Rock Springs traveling across I-80 to at least play Cheyenne South. That outcome highly surprised me.
And I wasn't shocked by that. The numbers are down. Again, when we saw Soto get knocked out, I mean, that's one of your top seniors. Don't have a lot of, seniors on that ball club to start with. And, again, they have been pushed around most of the season, and Rock Springs, took it to them. And it adds to the blowouts that we have seen or heard about in Class 4A. Matter of fact, you did a little bit with the numbers here on how many blowouts
kind
we
of
had.
Number crunching as here.
Unbelievable.
We're week 4, but it is 5 games into the season. So with Class 4A competing in 5 games per Friday, equates to 25 games in total that we've seen here in the state of Wyoming in Class 4A football. Out of those 25 games, 11 of them. And this is why I came to you earlier of what would you consider minimum points, or at least a victory. What is the minimum point total?
And I backed it off. I at first gave you a number of 35, and I said, no, a blowout really in high school is about a 28-point spread.
So about 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, so a 42-14. Wouldn't you call that a blowout?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay.
So with that being said, again, minimum of 28-point victory. You look across of what we've seen out of 25 games here, as we are, again, as I mentioned, week 4. These are 5 games played in total by all 10 teams here in Class 4A. So far, you've seen 11 blowouts, 11 of them. That equates to 11 out of 25. That's 44% of games so far here in 2019 have been won by minimum 28 points by some team. That's not good. You compare that again. I to give you at least a little insight, and it was something that I saw on social media. People talking about how competitive, how fun it is to kind of watch Class 3A football, and it's a valid point. Now, Class 3A has played 5 games less than what Class 4A has. Class 3A did start 1 week later, was not a part of that, at least week 0 start that Class 4A competes in. Instead, they start week 1, so to speak, there in Class 3A. So out of 20 games in Class 3A, and I only counted 3A matchups between each 3A, not interclass, not taking on outside state opponents. It was 3A versus 3A opponents so far here in 2019. So out of 20 games for Class 3A, only 2 games meet that blowout standards, a minimum of 28-point victory. Yeah. That's only 10%.
And that says how competitive
that tells you that 3A has talent spread out through the state. Class 4A, you can argue the talent's pretty much at your top, and then the bottom teams, or basically to kind of keep it simple enough, talent's not spread out across the state. It's with a few select teams, and that's about it.
Yeah, and
it's an alarming stat of what Class 4A is showing.
And look at the pool. Sheridan, every year, has been a reload team.
Mm-hmm.
Gillette, even though they are now 2 high schools, all the talent pool did was said, I'm out of here. I'm going over here.
Yeah.
Okay? So they're still a stronghold. Casper Natrona, since Steve Harshman arrived, they've been good.
Yeah.
Been very good. Okay? Kelly Walsh at once every 5-6 years.
You want to go back to Natrona County as well up there in Casper competing with Kelly Walsh. Natrona, not saying they're stealing athletes from Kelly Walsh, but it is that kind of prestige program that maybe parents or maybe, up-and-coming athletes in that Casper area kind of look at hey, I'd rather go here than go here and find a way to move into that district, so to speak.
I don't know how their lines are drawn over there. But again, Kelly Walsh has not really been significant. Yeah, they got into the semifinals here a few years back under John Vance. But other than that, Kelly Walsh has not been significant in years. Then you look at Cheyenne East under Chad Goff.
Cheyenne East has been relevant even in
year
the
in, year out.
John Saroff
I know,
days.
but year in, year out. We've already had this discussion. Central, last time
it's peaks and valleys with Central. We're talking.
Rick Sigelski was the last one to get them to the promised land.
Which, again, was about in 2006. So it's not as, out of line for Cheyenne Central, but it is a program that does go through peaks and valleys, is known for winning, but it's just gone through kind of a rough patch here in recent seasons. But as we're seeing right now in second year with Mike Apodaca, they're climbing out.
Yeah,
and they're showing something special.
And then with Coach Gallus, in his first initial season when he was blessed with a few seniors, on his roster, he came out strong. And then, then they went to that part. Once you lose a student athlete, during an injury, and again, these guys, we do not salute South enough just because of these scores. Most of these guys are going both ways.
Yeah.
They hardly get a breather. I mean, they're on punt teams, they're on kickoff return teams, they're on kickoff teams.
The same thing as what you saw this past Friday with Laramie.
Yeah. Everybody, but again, for South, it's almost like the entire roster, or their entire 11 guys here are the same 11 guys on the other side of the football. It just seems like that. So, again, numbers would always catch up. And, yeah, you're right, with Laramie. Numbers caught up with Laramie as well. They didn't bring a lot of bodies with them over to Cheyenne Central.
Like I said, before the second teamers came in for Cheyenne Central, it was 47-0 in favor of Cheyenne Central. So, again, the 14 points that Laramie put up was against second-teamers that have not seen a whole lot of varsity experience there for the Indians.
Yeah, and again, too, 47-14, if you wanted to be real nasty, Central probably could have put up a couple more scores if they had kept the first. If you really want to be nasty, Central could have scored every time they had the football.
Yeah.
But see, going back to that blowout formula that you came up with,
statistic formula.
Well, the same thing too. But I gave you the 28 points. I used the East situation at South. East had the football. They scored 8 straight times in that ball game. Again, we're talking 12-minute quarters. That's 48 minutes. And once you get ahead by 45 points, tick, 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 the clock doesn't stop. But let me finish. So you had at least 8 drives by East, and then they had 1 with the sophomores that came in.
All right.
So you probably, on an offensive side during a game, may handle the football about 10 times offensively.
And again, a lot of these games you go back through here in 2019, might have been a little bit different of who knows what teams have kind of put in second teamers or how extreme could have those at least end results gotten. Again, going back to week 0, how about 41-7 in favor of Cheyenne East over Gillette, 68-12 in favor of Natrona over Cheyenne South, 44-0 for Thunder Basin over Cheyenne Central. That's three right there. How about 3 in week 1, 55-0 East over Kelly Walsh. How about 40-7 Rock Springs over Laramie, 68-13 Thunder Basin over Cheyenne South. Again, we're talking, these are astronomical.
These are just kick butt numbers.
In week 2, there was only one, thankfully, but that was our contest, Kelly Walsh and Cheyenne South, 47-8. Again, Trojans beating Cheyenne South. And then you look at least 2 weekends, 2 Fridays ago, Cheyenne East upending Cheyenne South 55-7. Natrona County over Laramie 44-13. That's 2 there in week 3. And then, as we mentioned, week 4, Rock Springs 50, South nothing. Thunder Basin 51, Gillette 14. That's another blowout, so 2 last Friday. So that's where you get those 11 total games, those 11 blowouts out of 25 games here so far in Class 4A in 2019.
And what do you do?
It's an astonishing problem.
Yeah, I just don't know. Is that a Ron Laird problem? Is that a school district problem? I don't know how you fix it.
But again, you look at one class higher that we have that big of a discrepancy. Where you look down at Class 3A, it's competitive. It's compatible, at least competitive football throughout that entire class on East and West. We're looking at you got 6 teams in the East, 6 teams in the West, 12 total down there. Every single one of them. Again, 2 games so far out of 20 games have been blowouts.
But also, too, you look back, and you won't remember this, but your junior, senior year, Green River. You pantsed them at Oakey Blanchard Stadium. That's why you got to play as a sophomore. Your junior year up at Green River. Junior, you're at Green River, and again, another blowout. Green River next year is out.
Yeah.
They're down to 3A. Evanston. I remember going up there covering them.
Again, Evanston's a weird one because
I know, but Coach Fackrell was stepping down, and they were almost making the long trips, but then they were starting to lose the numbers, and they were starting to get beat. You remember they were pretty decent in football for the longest time, and then all of a sudden they started tailing off.
When I graduated, we faced Evanston for the state championship in Class 4A. It was East versus Evanston there in 2000.
And it wasn't a contest.
No, it wasn't a contest, but they were still a team that made it that state championship. But they had enough to get there.
And I would say over a 5-year period after that, they started going down. And then they started getting into whoever wins between South and Evanston is going to go to the playoffs. Okay, It got to that point. And Evanston said, we just don't have the numbers. So they dropped into 3A. But like you said, you got Evanston, you got Green River, you got Cody, you got Riverton, Rollins, Jackson, Star Valley. I know I'll be missing Powell, Warland. So there's 9 teams I know of right there that are and Douglas. Douglas, that's 10.
And again, at least up and coming will be Buffalo. At least that's coming in.
Buffalo will
in
replace
years.
Torrington, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Torrington's going to
drop down.
But see, the point is, you're looking at pretty solid programs, especially on the west side. And again,
but it's like even if teams are winless or at least struggling to find wins and blow 500 and miss the playoffs, they're still competing in competitive games. They're still getting. It's beneficial for those student athletes at least across all those schools in Class 3A where they're getting opportunities, they're getting looks, and they're in game situations where things are still on the line with a couple minutes left in that fourth quarter. Not where we saw this past Friday night with Central and Laramie. Well, that game was well out of hand pretty much before half.
Yeah,
it was in favor of Central.
Yeah, the game was out of hand. You could get a good, clear picture that Central was not going to lose this thing.
But that's just my point, though, is what does that teach that Laramie Plainsman squad? When basically that you've lost. You know that you had no shot in that contest before that game even hit halftime. It does not show any benefit. What does it do for those student athletes where, again, the end goal for high school, at least student athletes, is you want them to move on to that next level? Scouts are going to look at that and go, wow, I'm sorry, Plainsman, that's kind of rough. I don't think you're talented enough to go join me on the JUCO ranks, D3, NIA, D1, whatever it may be.
There might be that one player that stands out in a very bad situation. It happens. But then again, too, looking at the Laramie Plainsman situation, there's not a lot of D1s on there. I can tell you that right now.
No.
But, you look at Central, maybe there isn't a D1er, but there's a very good possibility there's about a half dozen. And again, let's go back to that offense. Only one senior on the offense. That's the quarterback.
And I'm not even looking.
Everybody else is juniors.
I'm not even looking for at least student athletes here in the state or Class 4A all to be D1. Again, the end goal is to move on to that next level, to continue those athletics at some shape or form, at whatever level.
Or they're going to the next level A for the education first.
Well, without a doubt. But again, athletics do help as well. And again, get that scholarship opportunity, pay for school. Mm-hmm. Again, it's all a benefit. And also, too, does help out, the state of Wyoming. It helps out those families. It does multiple things when you get those looks. And again, my argument here in Class 4A is this has no benefit overall. It's just it's helping small schools. And that's great for Cheyenne East, Natrona, Sheridan, and Thunder Basin. And now I'll even toss in there with Cheyenne Central. But what good does it do for South? What good does it do for Laramie? What good does it do for Rock Springs, Kelly Walsh? Where, again, in Class 3A, it's competitive. I'd rather have what Class 3A has, where you got games that matter throughout that entire 48 minutes.
But let me ask you this question. Let's just throw it, for example, I know we got to get into our next segment. Of course, we'll have head coach Craig Bohl's press conference coming up. By the way, the Cowboys leading into the bye week. But let's just say for giggles here, okay, that we schedule Jackson. And let's just say Cheyenne East goes up against Jackson. What's to say that the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds don't do the same thing to Jackson as they do Kelly Walsh?
Yeah.
What's to say that's not going to happen? So just because, and again, smaller numbers at all these schools because of population size. Smaller numbers. But again, Jackson only has one high school. We have three. But then again, in Jackson, there's only 12,000 people.
Yeah.
60,000 plus here. So what's to say, though, we schedule that game even on a neutral site? What's to say that East doesn't go out there and do like they did against South and score?
Again, all you could do is theorize and just kind of play that game of what if, without a doubt. And it probably would go that route of Cheyenne East, probably just continuing the blowout. But it goes and stems back of, is talent that sporadic here in Class 4A that it's pretty much of these top teams have it all, and then the lower ones pretty much have to suffer the consequences of, you're not going to be competitive. You're not aiming. You have basically all you're saying is, hey, other teams outside of the top five, you got no shot at a state title.
I've already said it before. The answer is simple. You need to make a decision. Do you want to stay in 4A? If you're going to stay in 4A, then you better get the student athletes to come out and play for you.
Yeah.
If you're going to drop down a class 3A, for example, you might have a better shot because we've had this discussion before. Those that are coming from the triads, the three triads that we have here, and the one that's coming across the street to the other one that we're probably referring to, they're probably saying, I don't want to go and get my brains beat out every weekend. I want to win.
Yeah. And
Stop me if I'm wrong.
That also, too, stems on coaching staffs, athletic directors throughout the state, where, hey, you got to get your butts in gear and start recruiting and try to paint at least a better picture of saying, hey, come play football with us. Ignore what has happened. Maybe it's your turn to change things around.
And you got to sell the program.
Yeah.
And right now, I think selling the program is a hard thing to do. All right, we do need to move into our next segment. We will be right back.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Are you thinking about buying a new water heater? You could spend $1,300 or more on a gas-fired water heater. Or you could spend $0 on a top-of-the-line electric water heater from High West Energy. That's right, $0. High West members can upgrade from gas to electric without spending a penny. Don't you wish all decisions were this easy? Go to highwestenergy.com to learn more or call 307-245-3261. High West Energy, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
To be your fullest self, you gotta eat like it. Top off your tank with all your faves, or dig into 3 new items in our new Full-Up menu at Taco John's. When you're not taking any guff from your hunger, get the Boss Burrito or Boss Bowl's bigger flavors. Or go for the Sausalada Enchiladas bold, saucy style. And don't forget the better bites of the aerodynamic Taco Perfecto. Never run on empty with the new Full-Up menu. Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. At participating locations.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Coming up next after we get into the break, we'll be hearing the comments from Craig Bohl, University of Wyoming head coach. Our program being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, open 7 days a week. First Year Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center, part of Lennox Enterprises, again serving our community needs for 25 years. We want to thank Medicap Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, as you will find Gene and the gang over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range across from Powers Field and Menards, open 6 days a week, serving up 3 squares with 2 convenient drive-thrus. Platte Valley Bank, the original location on Vandehigh. Platte Valley Bank on the corner of College and Pershing, serving our needs for, open Monday through Friday. So check out our good friends over at Platte Valley Bank. Key of Cheyenne has the key of your dreams waiting for you right now, whether it's one of the remaining 19s or the all-new 2020s. AJ and the crew say come on by and take a test drive today. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. And Taco John's of Cheyenne. Again, you will find them on KRAE Avenue, downtown. You will find them on Yellowstone Road. 2 locations nearby, Del Range and Ridge, Pershing and Ridge, and of course on the South Greeley Highway is a rebuild, this good-looking location. I'm telling you, it's looking nice. But in the interim, while it's being rebuilt, go to the Outlaw Saloon parking lot and enjoy delicious Taco John eats and treats from the Taco John's food truck. Taco John's of Cheyenne. And we get things underway. Scoreboard time is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We'll go first to Nick.
LCCC Athletics from this past weekend. All teams competing on Saturday. We'll start on the soccer side of things, where both men and women were at Columbus, Nebraska, taking on Central Community College. We'll start on the mid side, where LCCC got the victory 7-1. So with that victory, they moved to 7-3 overall. They are number 25 in the nation, even though it is top 20. So they're on the outside looking in to get in that top 20. So LCCC women's soccer, after that game wrapped up, took on that same Central Community College team, winning as well 9-1. So for LCCC women, with that victory, they are still undefeated on the season. They are 8-0-1, and they are still ranked number 4 in the nation. LCCC women's volleyball up in Casper, Wyoming, taking on Casper College Lady Thunderbirds, where LCCC as well at least capped off the sweep, so to speak, for LCCC Athletics, as they won as well 3-1. So with that victory, LCCC on the season is 3-17 overall. They will have a contest coming up at Otero Junior College tomorrow night, 6 o'clock is the start time for that game down in Colorado. Do want to remind folks, coming up this Friday here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com is where you can hear the contest. Video-wise, where you can see the game, it will be on Periscope via Twitter, and also to the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel, where we will have Casper Kelly Walsh play host to Cheyenne Central this Friday. Anticipating a 7 o'clock kickoff. We're looking to at least confirm that time, but right now we're anticipating 7 o'clock, so which would entail a 6:30-ish pregame show here on 1480 KRAE. Looking forward to that. And last reminder as well, just put it up earlier today, where you can go to 1480KRAE.com/schedule is where you can find this, exactly that URL, where I have uploaded and posted the 1480 KRAE 2019-2020 LCCC men's and women's basketball broadcast schedule. So you can go over there, see where we will be at when those games are happening, and how you tune in for those games coming up this season.
For me, it's light. Major League Baseball, toast, history, regular season, no Game 163s. However, tomorrow, the National League wild card will take place at Nat Stadium, as it'll be Washington playing host to the Milwaukee Brewers. On tap tonight, Monday Night Football. Combined, these teams are 0-6. Really? We're going to watch this tonight? I think wrestling might be first and foremost.
I was to say Monday Night Raw is going through its season premiere. They're all.
I'm thinking Raw might be the ticket tonight. The Bungles of Cincinnati and the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. Something's got to give. Somebody's going to walk away with their first win of the season. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
At Mountain Dew, we say here's to the doers. The people who know you gotta do what you gotta do.
Who do it big.
Then do it bigger.
Who don't just watch.
So if there's something you want to do, here's a little advice.
Grab yourself an ice-cold Mountain Dew.
And get to it.
That's right. Get going.
Get started.
Stand up.
Jump up.
Grab hold of it.
Throw down on it.
Run with it.
Now. Right now.
Not tomorrow.
Not next week.
Next month.
Next year. Work it out.
Grind it out.
Get stoked.
Get passionate.
And do it.
Do it till it hurts.
Do it till you can't.
Do it till you've done it.
And most of all, don't ask how other people do it.
Don't ask how you should do it.
Don't ask if it can be done.
Don't ask if it's ever been done.
Because there are those who don't.
And those who do.
At Mountain Dew, we say, let's do.
Let's do.
Let's do.
Let's do.
Do the do.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Relieve your stress. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne. With a new Kia vehicle, you get one of the best warranties in America. The new 2019 Kia Sorento comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. 2019 Kia Sorento gives you up to 122 cubic feet of cargo space, 7-passenger seating, available all-wheel drive, and wireless charging for your devices. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or a retailer for details.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Otherwise, for the remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 62 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy and a chance of rain, or low down to 38. Tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain showers. Look for a daytime high of only 49 degrees. And for Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Our low dropping down to 32 degrees.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Certainly a Saturday evening game was a great victory for us, and the reason why I say that is it was an opening game of conference play, and those are always important wins. UNLV does have good athletes, and they're well coached. And then more so, some of the adversity that we were confronted with a number of new players that were going to be playing in the game. And while we had expected to win, I did not foresee that lopsided win. I think that's, the stars were aligned. We certainly were explosive on defense. We got that turnover margin in our favor again, and we were able to run the football. And the momentum really certainly had an impact. I thought our crowd was phenomenal. I want to really give big kudos to our student body. It's been great to see them show up. And so it was really a great night for Cowboy football. I think we went through the game relatively healthy. If I'd had my druthers, I would have had a bye week before that game. But we're going to take the bye week now, and we will utilize the bye week working on fundamentals. We'll spend time working on San Diego State, and then also with many of our players having a chance to get refreshed. And as the week goes along, I'll probably be able to give you a little bit more accurate information as far as the status of some of those guys who have missed games. But we're in hopes that we're going to have a whole boatload of those guys back in a healthy fashion when we hop on the plane to go out to San Diego. So at this time, I'll open up any questions from the audience or online. Yes?
With that being said, Frank Rowan and Patrick Arnold got the start. What did you see on the film from them? Looked like they had a pretty good outing.
Well, they did for their time. We appreciate their efforts, and they went in and really competed. There's things that they certainly can do better, but for their first opportunity, we're well pleased with what they did. We're in hopes that we'll have Logan and Alonzo back before this next week, but we'll find out a little bit more. But we're really pleased they got some meaningful game experience. Patrick had been playing sprinkled in, but Frank had not been playing, and so to play a game like that against a good opponent, I think is going to prove well for us in the future.
Well, Jordan Murray kind of in the same boat. He stepped in for Tyler Hall, and he did a fantastic job.
Well, your observation is pretty accurate. Jordan had played a little bit in the previous game, just a little bit, and we had seen some good signs. He sees some things that are encouraging during practice, but he really came out to compete. I mean, there were times that, if he stands sideways, you can hardly see him. I think he's 155 pounds, but he threw whatever he had out there, and he competed and made some big-time plays. And more than anything else, we saw a competitive nature of him to be able to go out and compete the way he did. And so we were well pleased with him.
Last week you mentioned turnovers, and this week you guys go out and get 3 picks. And when it comes to creating turnovers, is there something you guys can do to create turnovers, or is it just being in the right place at the right time and making the play?
A little bit of both. Certainly putting pressure on an offense poses a challenge, how an offense is going to handle a football. And when you do pressure them, not only pressure them, right away you think of maybe blitzes, but that's not necessarily the case. If the quarterback is under duress, or a running back is running and guys are putting their hats on the football and they're stripping the ball and there's a lot of people around and guys are being really explosive. And then guys executing. Wilson's interception was part of executing a defense. And so there's a combination of both. There's no question. I think we're 7th in the country or 5th in the country in turnover margin, something like that. And as you know, the years we've had good years, that margin has always been up. We're taking care of the football and taking it away. And there's, without question, those takeaways had a profound effect in the ball game. I thought it flipped things around. Yes, Davis.
You mentioned you thought you'd have Tyler Hall. The confident you'd have him back this week. Will he practice this week? Or will you hold him out?
That's yet to be determined. I think he's still in protocol, but some of the signs that we're getting are encouraging. I know he was on the sidelines jumping up and down and wanting to be out there on the field, and those things from my perspective are good, but he's still got to go through the protocol.
Has Logan started in protocol?
Not yet. Yes.
Does Titus Moon remind you at all of a guy who used to run here in Brian Hill?
Well, they have different styles, but I think Titus runs with an angry demeanor, is what I would say. He runs relentlessly, and his legs are churning, and sometimes you get a little bit concerned about with that churning that, that ball is going to get exposed, and he did get the ball stripped from him, so that's going to be a learning lesson from him. But, he's come on. He's taking coaching more. It's all new to him as far as his reads. I thought Gordy Haug had done a great job with him during the course of the game on some of his reads. One of his long runs was, a great cut that he made with the instruction that Gordy had given him. But certainly the number of tackles, his yak is really quite special. And, we're glad to have him. And, he's just another arsenal that we have. I don't know. I think he went over 100 yards, and that's really encouraging.
Coach, you talk about competition a lot in terms of the coaches and your assistants and the players. Given the fact that you saw Frank and Patrick play a lot, Jordan Murray play a lot, how much can that just continue to help your squad develop?
Well, depth is always important. I always tell our guys, in Proverbs it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And every day you go out to practice, when you have more competitive guys out there, with a team attitude, guys know that they need to be prepared when they go out to practice, that internal competition is really healthy. And then along with that, just the depth that you have. And so the depth providing competition certainly is encouraging. However, I will say that some of those spots that we would like more depth, we don't have right now. But to see Frank and Jordan Murray and Patrick come in and do the way we did in the game is really, really a bright spot. Yes, Davis.
You mentioned Jordan's competitiveness. What is it specifically about his skill set that you guys are confident to run him out there as a freshman?
Well, some of it was kind of like we didn't have a lot of other options, but he had practiced well. But quite frankly, I mean, if you look at the number of corners that we've got right now compared to where we're at during fall camp, is significantly different. And so one of the reasons why we double rep and spend a lot of time coaching everybody during fall camp, unlike some other squads, is because injuries are going to happen. And so he showed some good things during practice. He had shown some good things, Davis. But until the bright lights are on, you really don't know how a guy's going to respond, and he has responded very well.
We talked a couple of weeks ago about Braden Smith and the play he made. Texas State getting a pick where he came in and filled in. I know he was playing some corner on Saturday. Was that something that you guys just kind of always had that in your back pocket, knowing that he was that versatile, could fill in there? And what did you think of the job he did? Well,
I thought he did well, and we thought he did well at corner. But, however, that was not planned at the beginning of the year. We thought we had quite a bit of depth at corner. And so when we started looking at the depth chart and who's out there, who can play, we made a determination during the course of the week that he needed to get some meaningful reps in practice at corner. As we move forward, we'll make a decision whether to try to rep him at both places, at safety and corner, and just solidify him at one spot. I would say right now during the course of this week, he'll probably take some reps at both spots. Yes.
First bye week, do you like, Coach, how the schedule kind of broke up with where the buys are going to play? So
well, I tell you what, I would have given a month's salary to move that bye week up going into this last week. Now I'm loving it where it's at. Coaches are pretty much, and not only myself but all my colleagues, you kind of have what you have, and the challenges, some of the things that you think are somewhat advantageous. I think to have a bye week right now certainly is very timely. And we're going to utilize that wisely. You want to make sure we term that as a bye week, not an off week, that you're getting things done, you're getting active rest, you're staying strong in the weight room, you're getting healed up, you're working on some fundamentals, you're developing some depth. We've taken a book of what we need to improve on offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. We're going to work on some of those things as we get ourselves deep into conference play now. We play in a really competitive conference, and so it's great to have a bye week now, especially when we're going to go out and play I think, an excellent San Diego State football team.
Is it nice that it's kind of broken the schedule up in different chunks? Could you play 3 straight and then get
right. Well, yeah, I like it, and we'll do some recruiting. Certainly some coaches will be out recruiting. I'm going to be departing, doing some recruiting as well, in-season recruiting. It's certainly better. I think one year we had a bye week at the about the very last week, which seemed odd. I think the fact that we have 2 this year I think that's good for college football. When you have young men that, as coaches, you're grinding away, but you fail to realize these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old, and so for them to maybe have a chance to get caught up academically a little bit more, it's going to be important as well. Yes.
Are you concerned at all about Cooper? Pulling, I think every kick he misses, you're pulled to the left.
No, and I want to be real clear that within the operation of, I'm going to be pointed about what I say, and I'm going to hope that you kind of read between the lines. I think Cooper is kicking the ball well, but there's three facets in that. There's the kicker, there's a holder, and there's the snapper. And so we've got some work to do with those three elements. Well said. You got it. Okay. Yes, Davis.
Trey Smith, he's played 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
If he were to miss the rest of the season, do you know if there's any possibility of medical hardship, 60 year? Have you guys talked about that?
No, we really haven't. I think we're in the midst of just trying to do what we can. We'll see when, but I do know it's going to be quite a ways for him to get back. And, the NCAA right now has got, there's different guidelines in the waiver process. I think if anybody can figure that one out, they can solve the problems we got in Washington, D.C. right now. So we'll move forward. Trey's, he's in a boot. It's just going to take some time. But, I can tell you Trey has been a great addition to our football team. Many times when you have a guy that transfers in, you don't know how they're going to assimilate in your locker room, and that word of culture is sometimes overused, but that's really important to us, and Trey's been an ultimate team player. Anything else on a bye week? Okay, Keith, you're on the line. Do you have a question?
I do. I'm curious, the governor of California signed into law that Fair Pay to Play Act.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, and that will begin in 2023. How do you think that will affect college football? Do you have an opinion either way on that?
Well, I certainly do. I serve on their NCAA competition committee, and we had an extended conversation within the Mountain West because many of our schools are from the Mountain West. And so I would be surprised if this whole initiative does not end up in the Supreme Court, settled by people that are far above my pay grade. I think I don't even think it's a complex issue. I think that there's some things. I think NCAA football, there's some great things that we have going on right now. College football's in a good place, and so I do think we want to be sensitive to the student athletes and their needs, but they're here to get an education. And I think sometimes some people on the outside who think they really understand the dynamics of NCAA football are just people on the outside that don't live the life of the student athlete. That's going to probably make some national headlines. Yes, Davis.
Craig, on that same line, if this thing does stick, and obviously California is a huge recruiting for you guys, do you think Wyoming would have to come up with some sort of legislation?
I think you're looking at a whole huge dynamic change, and that's where I think it's one of these things. Whenever somebody has an initiative that they think is a really good idea, they don't see the full complexities. While I'm personally not completely happy with everything the NCAA does, there's a reason why we're part of this organization. It's a voluntary organization. Schools can either choose to be part of the NCAA or not. And the NCAA has some guidelines, and one of them is amateurism and how they view that. And so I just think that there's not going to be a quick fix on this. I think it's going to go out quite a while. I do know this is that what's going on with the student athlete right now, I think each year their benefits that they're getting are significantly being improved. The academic support, the cost of attendance, the student welfare, assistance funds, all these things. And sometimes what people see too, they're looking at a college football player or a men's basketball player. What people may not realize is we have 400 and some student athletes, and how you grapple with all that. It's a complex issue. And so I think we're in a good place. And And so while I may not disagree with some of the maybe the initial thoughts on some people on the outside looking in, but it'd be interesting to how many people that are passing these proposals in a state legislative body have ever even dealt with college athletics, even understand college athletics. And so we're striving to do more. I know that there's more funds than there ever has been, and I also know college football is more popular than there ever has been.
Proud sponsors of the student athletes for the 2019-2020 school year for high school and LCCC. Not only do they support the athletes, but they are ready for your next cater-out event, meeting, or gathering. A special thank you to Chick-fil-A and all they do for 1480 KRAE and our sister station KYOI-FM during the year. For more information, call Chick-fil-A at 638-4444.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOI-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOI, and that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
The message is simple: drive sober or get pulled over. If you drink and drive, remember it's illegal and it can cost you your freedom or worse, your life. It's been determined that a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or more can impair you considerably when you are behind the wheel. Financially, it can devastate you if you get arrested. More importantly, it could result in losing a friend or a family member. That price is too high to pay. Call a designated driver after enjoying a night out and get home safe. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
At Platte Valley Bank, we love to see our customers come through the door. Well, we know life can be busy and you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking products with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, mobile deposit, and now digital wallet. At Platte Valley Bank, you can manage your money how you want, when you want. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712. Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. I like the press conference there, you know, especially with the concern about Cooper Roth. Hey, you know, kickers going to slumps too. I mean, he missed a couple of extra points. I understand that.
But you're talking to Mr. Old Reliable, so to speak, where the guy
he's money in the bank.
They're perfect, but he's
human.
He's been having issues recently.
He's human.
Yeah.
But like Coach said, it takes 3 to get 1 or 3.
Yeah, again, I don't fault Cooper Roth at all of where he's in the slump. Again, it does take that snapper, it does take that holder. things could be a little off with that, and that's something obviously you got to take care of in practice and get those reps underway to kind of get that back to that perfect. It's the same thing of where going back to with Sean Chambers. The offense of how it's struggled at this point in time, of where it's been at, again, him not being able to pass, getting flushed out, and making kind of interesting plays throughout the season, it's not all on him. It's on that wide receiver core. It's on that offensive line. It's all a team effort. It is not just Sean Chambers' issue. It's that entire offense.
Let's go back to the ball game. The Cowboys not so much came out slow. I think UNLV came out a ball of fire.
Before we even get to the game, though, at least talking and recapping what happened this Saturday do want to mention at least before that game got underway, accidents happening on I-80, closed down I-80.
Happy Jack was a mess.
Well,
it was wall-to-wall.
But what I'm trying to say before you cut me off, but again, I-80 had a few semi-accidents, shut down I-80 for a couple hours that Saturday, well before the contest, and I think it reopened just as kickoff was happening, or just a few minutes beforehand, but due to dense fog and the heavy winds, and it was just not pretty, at least there on that route to get to Laramie. But kudos to fans. I think just under 22,000 heading over to War Memorial Stadium. Again, even for here, at least if you are traveling from Casper or Cheyenne or whatever, Wheatland, all these kind of at least areas, if you want to take I-80 west, at least having to adjust to get to Happy Jack, where it is, I do believe, one-lane highway, at least to and fro.
It affected Cheyenne. It basically affected us, Nick, because most of the northern, the Wheatlands and the Caspers, they'll take that 34 into Laramie.
No.
But, but again, the bulk of the fan base comes out of here. Yeah. So, and again.
But it was good to see that folks adjusting to Happy Jack and getting around the craziness that was I-80.
I had some friends saying, you don't want to be on this road right now. I mean, it was like traffic jam city going to Laramie on Happy Jack.
Yeah, so we decided not to go to that game, not deal with all that. Sat at home and just watched that game on ESPN.
Well, and you go back to the game itself, and again, like I mentioned, UNLV, not so much that Wyoming came out sluggish, UNLV came out on a high.
Yeah,
but
it was kind of the old Cowboy route of here comes UNLV, at least a little bit strong out of the gate.
Track meet, that's what I thought.
But it was good to see that Wyoming, again, in the first quarter, putting up at least one touchdown, at least 10-7 after one, which was in favor of the UNLV. It's good that we are seeing the Cowboys get over that stigma, that bugaboo that is that first quarter of how they come out very slow. So, again, another step in the right direction for the Cowboys. And I think in this game in total, it was good steps, albeit small steps, but more so on the at least scoring aspect, putting up 53 points. Hey, where we question if this team could even approach 20 points in a season.
Well, the game changed dramatically in the second quarter once that Charles Williams went
down. Again, second quarter has been that magic quarter for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
This entire season.
But did you see UNLV, basically, they were not the same team. Williams went down with the knee injury, and, I mean, that was it. Armani Rogers was like a lost quarterback back there.
Yeah, Williams is your top, at least, rusher from that contest. And, again, he's the big guy for UNLV. Once he goes down, that pretty much deflated the running Rebels, and you saw it on that sideline. You saw it throughout that game. That team basically just gave up, kind of put up a pathetic, at least, touchdown there in the fourth quarter to get 17 points on that game. But other than that, though, yeah, Wyoming took care of business. Good to see the offense putting up good amount of points finally against a team that, yes, Cowboys, without a doubt, you should have beat this team, and you did.
Well, and again, the running game, I mean, when you put up 374 yards of rushing, here's the deal with the Cowboys.
Still one-dimensional, but again, Sean still getting in, even though 12 attempts, 124 yards, getting there.
I still like Sean Chambers in the pocket or out of the gun, as when he's in the pocket, he's good. I mean, he hits everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's his receivers that let him down, too.
Yeah.
But when Sean is on the run, he's not that good. He's not a good rollout quarterback. For some reason, he can't throw on the run. But when he,
I thought you were talking like actual running, because he was the second best rusher in that game.
I'm going to the passing game.
Yeah.
When he's rolling out, either way, he's not good. But when he has that opportunity to set his feet, step back, and fire, he throws howitzers. And I like that portion of the football game. But, yeah, the Cowboys are technically one-dimensional right now. Now, can the better team show up against the Cowboys? Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, UNLV, get a team that clearly shows that they are not in the same vein of the Cowboys.
I think Sanchez is adios after. And it almost looked like, too, and they were showing photos of him, not so much the frustration. It was almost like he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Did you notice? I mean, it was like, all right, we're getting our butts kicked. Let's hop on the plane and go home.
Well, again, it's a team that sits 1-3, and it's not going to be competitive in the Mountain West, especially in that West division.
If he's the coach next season, as I said, I'd be shocked.
I would not foresee it, especially with the transition to Raider Stadium and trying to build up this program and kind of use that as a recruiting tool. Yeah, I think Sanchez goes bye-bye after this season where, UNLV, without a doubt, finishes well below 500. But going back to the Cowboys, as we talk about, team still one-dimensional, just kind of focusing on the ground. Sean Chambers starting to, again, it's a slow process to get him accustomed to at least throwing the ball. Again, 5 of 12, 124 yards. 2 TDs, though, passing for Sean Chambers, which is good. At least good to see that he was able to do that. But again,
one of them was to his tight end, Josh Harshman.
But I think the big issue right now where we're kind of isolating or finding pieces that are still struggling, and I think it's been a common theme throughout this year, and you at least kind of mentioned it a few minutes ago, is the wide receiver core. You even look with turnover margin and what happened, at least with the Wyoming Cowboys fumbles, your two wide receivers, one being Austin Conway and also two Swin. So you right again, not the issue with Sean Chambers of why he's not passing or why it's we're seeing the incompletions or whatever it may be. It's a team effort, and those wide receivers are giving Sean some trouble. They are not catching these balls. Get 2 fumbles by your wide receiver core. Come on now.
I agree. It drives you nuts because I think Chambers is a little better at the quarterback position. But again, I say this right now. He is better in the pocket. He is not a good running, throwing quarterback.
He may not be now, but again, I think with Sean and something where we talked about last year with Tyler Vanderwall, give these guys some time.
Well,
he's still young,
and again,
he can develop. Again, you see talent within him, without a doubt. Again, with Sean Chambers, he can do something great.
All right, let's go back to the touchdown to Harshman. Harshman was wide open down the seam. That one you had to put pretty, and he did. He put it right into the hands of Harshman. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Straight back in the pocket. That again, out of the gun, step back, one step, boom, fire up, boom, there it was, touchdown. So the thing is,
that's when the offensive line is also clicking and not at least allowing defenders to get past him and kind of put that hurry on.
But it also allows Sean too when he's in the pocket. This is what I appreciate watching him quarterback. When he's in the pocket, he can look off one and go to his outlet receiver. When he's on the run, he focuses on one guy only, and that's where he throws it low or throws it away, whatever the case may be.
Again, he's not used to at least those kind of flush out moments or again being under pressure.
It's amazing, he's a running guy.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of chuckle when I see this because again, when he does the RPO, the run pass option, he decides to take it.
Maybe it's something mentally where again as he's getting flushed out or on the move, on the run, so to speak. He's kind of in his own mind of trying to decide at that moment without maybe it's something of him being kind of early in his Cowboy career of trying to decide, okay, should I just run or pass? And that's kind of taken over his thought process, so to speak. Then looking at at his level, so to speak, of where his receiver core is at, even with the tight ends. I think could that be the issue that Sean's running into, that he's kind of too much in the moment in his mind of basically torn between, hey, I can run the ball. Should I run the ball? Should I pass it? I think it's.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think he's in that state of flux. Here I am. It's a set pass play, but I think I'm going to take it. I'm not feeling good about.
Because obviously he has the freedom to do that.
Yeah. And he's not afraid to turn it up. And again, he carried the ball 12 times, 100 yards. Titus Pham came off the bench, 136 yards rushing. And again, too, you think about this redshirt freshman quarterback, he's also looking behind him. You know, it was nice to see Valladay back. You know, he's still hobbling. He's not 100%. The running game has been kind of beat up for the Cowboys. I mean, they even got some nice yards out of Brenton, that is, the other day. So the thing is, he's now trying to relax a little bit back there. He knows he's got some weapons behind him. Maybe that takes some pressure off. But to be real honest, I think the bye week, and for the Cowboys especially here, and I was having coffee with a friend of mine today. I had the Cowboys pegged at 2-3 at this time.
Yeah.
They're 4-1. I'm ecstatic that they're 4-1. And they also get that extra week now to get a couple bodies healthy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, it's a 4-1 where, yeah, it's legit. Well, again, 3 of those wins, yes, were teams that you should have beat. But you look outside of the UNLV game, and again, what you did, upsetting Missouri there in Laramie, you know, again, struggling against Idaho, there's no excuse for that. You barely walked away San Marcos against Texas State. That is not impressive. And and
they should have had Tulsa.
Yeah, you should have beaten Tulsa.
You know, but should have, could have, would have.
4-1, yes, you're 2 wins away from being bowl eligible. You know, so there is that.
And they'll be bowl eligible. I mean, you can't beat.
Well, you got San Diego State. You should beat New Mexico at home without a doubt. You still have UNLV coming up to Laramie. There's 2 wins guaranteed right there.
UNLV
or CSU.
But don't you don't have the Wolfpack? Where's my schedule?
I'm talking about guaranteed wins. I'm not even looking at what some of those other Mountain West, because you still have Air Force, Utah State, and Boise State to eventually. I don't foresee those 3 games you're walking away with a victory for Wyoming. But again, the two that I focus on that are guaranteed on the schedule to get wins to get to that bowl eligibility is CSU
and New Mexico.
Yeah, you should beat them.
And then anything after that is bonus.
Yeah, without a doubt. Could they beat San Diego State? I don't know.
I think they can. I think they could beat San Diego State. I do see a struggle with Air Force.
Again,
I do see a struggle with Utah State.
You're going to San Diego State.
Well, you're also going to Air Force. You're also going to Utah, and you're going to Boise. So
good luck.
Those are 4 tough games coming up, and then the 2 that you have with New Mexico, along with CSU, are at home. So.
And we'll talk more about Wyoming with our special guest coming up tomorrow, but we should take a break and then just talk about, or at least quickly recap what else happened in the Mountain West.
Yeah, as I mentioned, and they should get Nevada. They got Nevada at home, too.
We'll see.
The Wolfpack, they got destroyed by, you know what? This is the second outing by the Wolfpack that had been destroyed. And I don't think they're going to come bounce back.
Let's talk about it after we get this.
All right, well, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
Capital Lumber is number 1 in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number 1 today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
To be your fullest self, you gotta eat like it. Top off your tank with all your faves, or dig into 3 new items in our new Full-Up menu at Taco John's. When you're not taking any guff from your hunger, get the Boss Burrito or Boss Bowl's bigger flavors. Or go for the Sausalada Enchiladas bold, saucy style. And don't forget the better bites of the aerodynamic Taco Perfecto. Never run on empty with the new Full-Up menu. Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. At participating locations.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Take care of stress. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne. With the new Kia vehicle, you get one of the best warranties in America. The new 2020 Kia Soul comes with a completely redesigned exterior and interior, all new high-tech features, and an available turbocharged engine. This hatchback has 16 exterior color options and plenty of available features. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or a retailer for details.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Well, the highs for the remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny. We're calling for a daytime high of 62 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy and a chance for rain, our low down to 38. Tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain showers. Look for a daytime high of only 49 degrees. And for Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and snow showers mixed. Our low dropping down to 32 degrees.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
You know, we've been so amped up here today on the high school stuff, along with even Wyoming. We haven't even had a chance to, get into any of the baseball. But I just real quick here, a couple pro things. Perfect for the Raiders. He got suspended for the remainder of the season for his helmet-to-helmet hit yesterday. And then Bradley Chubb for the Broncos. That what they don't need, as they're 0-4 right now. He's going to be gone for I do believe he's lost for the rest of the season. With
which is stuff
injury.
We could have talked about tomorrow. We still got plenty of shows here.
We can drop that just real quick here.
Just to keep on the theme with college football here.
But going back to the Cowboys here real quick, just throwing that out there. So we look at New Mexico, CSU, and Nevada. In my opinion, 3 winnable games. So that would put them at 7.
I'm not going to say that. Nevada's you should beat Nevada, but again, is it a guarantee? No. It's not a guarantee of where I put New Mexico and CSU for Wyoming. I don't. Even what you saw this past Saturday, there in Reno, where Hawaii, I think Hawaii has proven that they are a legitimate team. And I think Hawaii kind of reinforced what my thinking is that this is a Rainbow Warriors team that could possibly compete in that Mountain West Championship game, take advantage of where the West is at this point. I think they have a legitimate possibility. And you could see that. But I'm just saying, I think it was more so of what you saw in that contest where Hawaii just basically dominated. Again, 54-3 over Nevada there in Reno. Hawaii just proved to me, if anything, that they're the better team and they're a very good outfit here in the Mountain West.
Well, and I think Hawaii now has sent a message to both Fresno State, who beat New Mexico State 30-17. On the road in Las Cruces. I think Hawaii is going to let San Diego State know, as well as Fresno State, they're a contender.
I don't even think it's just something that they sent to those two teams in the West Division. It's something that's kind of rippled across the Mountain West of going, okay, we see what you're doing, Hawaii. 2 quality wins against Pac-12 opponents, granted, on the islands. You lost, which you should have, on the road against a very talented Washington Huskies team there in Seattle. And you put a whipping, at least off the islands, where we were talking about, hey, they're mortal off the islands. Well, they proved us all clearly wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
And they got it done.
Yeah.
They got it done. So with that being said, Hawaii, I think Nevada, not that bad. I think that was just a game that just said, yes, Hawaii is that good, and at least continue on throughout this season. But outside of the rest of the Mountain West, Friday's contest down at least Colorado Springs, Air Force gets it done, no surprise, against San Jose State. That was the final 41-24. No surprise there. How about this? Liberty at home, winning by 7 over New Mexico Lobos. Not a surprise. Lobos are a terrible outfit. And again, no surprise they would lose.
And you know where I mentioned with Sanchez probably being gone, I think Bob Davies also going to be gone with the Lobos here at the end of the year.
He should be, without a doubt. Yeah. Utah State at Logan, where they were dealing with weather issues, lightning delays in that contest, but Utah State still able to pull away the victory, 10-point at least contest for Utah State, 34-24 over CSU. So Utah State continuing to win. Fresno State on the road against New Mexico State. No surprise here. Fresno wins 30-17. Boise did have the bye at least this week. So with that being said, again, not big surprises except for probably that Hawaii game of just how out of hand it got, but pretty much went to Hoyle of what you kind of expected. Maybe outside of that, again, Wyoming putting up 53 against UNLV, a bit surprising, where we said, hey, this is a team that hard to believe that they could put up any amount of points. Well, they certainly did, and they took care of business against UNLV. So outside, not big shocks on the victories who won over the weekend, but some of those contests, again, the two, Wyoming and UNLV, Hawaii, Nevada, just shocking of kind of the end result.
You know, and you look at this week's schedule, and it's ugly. It's an ugly schedule.
You don't have a whole lot of games.
You got it's
because again, Wyoming's on the bye.
It's like the NFL here. It's a bye week, you know. And you got San Jose State on Friday with New Mexico. Who cares? You got Utah State at LSU. That is your big game. But LSU at Baton Rouge, nah, not even close. Air Force and the Navy, first of the Commander's Cup games. So Air Force will travel, and I'm curious about this one. Even though Navy, I think Navy's 2-1. I'm kind of curious to see how Air Force does at this one in Annapolis.
I think they'll hold their own.
I think they should beat the Navy.
Yeah.
San Diego State, CSU. Yeah.
San Diego State's got to travel to Fort Collins, but I think the Aztecs do get that win without a doubt. That's why again, Wyoming going out to San Diego State. That should be a loss coming up in 2 weeks. A team that is 3-1, that's going to be a tough one for the Cowboys to get that upset.
You know, we were talking earlier about what I felt would be a blowout in high school, 28 points. Look at the Boise State UNLV line already on that. 20.
It's not as high as LSU, though, for 23.5.
Well, 23.5, and then it's going to get even worse. I think that one gets ugly in a hurry. What's LSU?
I don't know, Boise.
26
even
points?
Boise with the high spreads have looked pretty pathetic this year, where they've the offense, it finds a way to click sometimes, and it finds a way to play down to its opponent. So I don't know. Again, Boise on the road to Las Vegas. Yeah, they should win that game, but will they cover that spread? I don't know.
I
would assume.
I think Vegas is more than bruised and battered. We're talking egos that are seriously deflated after what happened in Laramie.
Yeah, but it's egos. Again, it's not a team that's going to be chomping at the bit. It is a team that's going to roll over and die again.
Armani Rogers? Which quarterback's going to show up for that game?
I don't know.
So, you know, you could stick a fork in that. All right, we got to go. I didn't realize it's that late already. We have coming up